So the first escape sequence that we'll be looking at is how to use the new line character. Now the new line character looks something like this. First, every escape sequence starts with the it has a format like this backslash. This is called a backslash, and that's a forward slash. So every escape sequence is started with a backslash, and whenever we want to use a new line character, a new line character literal, we need to use backslash and n. So this special type of character tells the compiler that we want to create a new line for our text. Let us first, we actually created one single text, and okay, so the escape sequences that we were talking about, I'll be showing you 6 major escape sequences, and we'll be mainly using the new line characters for most of our examples, as I have already told you. Now the second escape sequence that we will look at is the tab T. This escape sequence, like before, as you can see, it starts with the backward slash, and it is followed by a T. So this tells the compiler that we are going to use the tab escape sequence. This tab escape sequence is like your keyboard's command. This new line escape sequence, this tab escape sequence, they are all like your they're like shortcuts which we are replicating from our keyboards. In our keyboards you will find, even if you're in a Mac, you're sitting in a Mac, although we usually use C# to develop Windows application, but if you look at the keyboards in Mac and the Windows computers, they are a little different, because in Mac we have the options, I guess, yeah, and the return. Then we don't have the backspace, we have the delete. But in a Windows machine, when we are using that Windows machine, we will find that there is this tab, and in Mac too you will find this tab. Now what the tab does is that it's like pressing the space bar 4 times. So the tab exactly replicates that. So whenever you place, whenever you want indentation of 4 spaces, we use the tab. Now the new line character is something like hitting the return on a MacBook and hitting the enter button on our Windows machine. So they're like shortcuts for our keyboards, and we are using them. Generally, when we want to maybe when we are typing something, even if we're typing like this, just for the sake of example, we are using enter. So enter, what the enter is doing is that every time we hit the enter button, it actually creates a new line. So this new line character, this new line escape sequence, does exactly the same thing as hitting the enter button on our keyboard. Now there are other characters which are not exactly like the keyboard commands, but what they do, they literally print out that value. Now what I mean by that is, if you want to place something inside this, what we have got is a string. Now inside that string, if you actually place another double quotation mark in here, what it does is that it actually, the compiler reads something like this. So the compiler, you can see that the compiler changed the color. If we remove this double quotation mark, it changes back to blue. So this entire text is considered to be a single string inside the compiler. But in the previous part, in a while ago, we saw that if we place another quotation mark after the first quotation mark, this quotation mark, double quotation mark, is in between 2 quotation marks. So what it does, it tells the compiler that only this word is a single string, and the other part is not considered to be a string. Why is that? Because every double quotation mark needs to be matched with another double quotation mark at the end of the string, like this. So whenever we create a class, as you can see, we have got two curly braces. The first curly brace is the starting of the class, and the ending curly brace tells the compiler that the class is ending here. And similarly, whenever we are trying to use a method or a function in programming, we need to use this curly brace, the starting curly brace and the ending curly brace, to tell the compiler where the starting is and where the ending is. So similarly, in a string, your string must start with a double quotation mark and it must end with another quotation mark at the end of that string. But what happens when we want to use another double quotation mark inside that single string? If we place something like this, then the compiler interprets that only the this word is a single string, and it omits the rest of the string, because you can see there are 3 quotation marks. So to consider this to be another string, we need to place another double quotation mark. So this quotation mark actually symbolizes the starting of the second string, and this ending double quotation mark symbolizes the ending of this second string. But that's not the way to do it. What we need to do, if we literally want to use a double quotation mark inside our string, we use an escape sequence like this. So the third escape sequence that we'll be talking about is the quotation, how to use a double quotation mark or a single quotation mark inside a string. So this double quotation mark needs to be used with the backward slash followed by the double quotation mark. So let's use this thing inside our string, and let's see what happens. The first thing that we need to do is use this backward slash followed by the double quotation mark. So you see, when we place that single double quotation mark inside this string enclosed with quotation marks both at the starting and at the ending, the compiler does not change the color. Whenever the compiler is changing the color like this, it means that it's only considering this to be a legitimate string. The rest of the part is not considered to be a legitimate string, and you can clearly see that sharp develop has marked your string with red flags. So it means that you have a problem in your coding. You need to change that. So if we place a backward slash, it tells the compiler that this is a literal, you need to place this double quotation mark literally inside the string. So what the compiler will do is that it won't omit this rest of the part from the string, and it will keep them intact, but it will also place this double quotation mark inside the string. So this time when we use this double quotation mark using a backslash, which is an escape sequence, obviously the compiler then changes the color to a green flag, which means your code is now safe. Now the third one, this was the third one. Now the fourth one we'll be talking about is how to use that single quotation mark inside our string. So this works in a similar way. If you want to change this, let's change this string and see what happens. So we are going to place single quotation marks. So yeah, I actually forgot something. Okay, that's a mistake. We can only use the double quotation mark inside our string. I actually forgot that, but nonetheless, inside our we were talking about the single quotation mark. So the character, we need to use a single quotation mark inside for our character data typed variables. For our string data typed variables, we need to use double quotation marks. Now when we want to use this single quotation mark inside